Everyone, thank you for joining us on Zoom tonight for this SJREIA event. Uh, you might have been expecting Ian Walsh, but you got the better Walsh here. All right, he's actually out recording a TV episode that's going to be on A&E. Can't really tell you anymore. Ian will probably tell you guys soon, but it's pretty neat. But there's a schedule conflict, so he asked me to just step in. But you're not here for me. You're not here for Ian. You're here for our guest tonight, which is Sharyn Mancini. Sharyn, thank you for joining us tonight, and I'm looking forward to having a great conversation with you here. So, Sharyn, thanks for hopping on.
Yes, likewise. Glad to be here. Thank you very much for asking me to be here tonight. And what we're going to be talking about is the three offer system, as it's officially called. I developed this. My background is mainly in real estate investing. I have been licensed since 1997 in New Jersey, and I think it was 2010 I got licensed in Pennsylvania. So I've been dual licensed in both states for a long time, and really just to buy and or list my own properties and just have MLS access. That was my main priority. I learned a lot about seller finance from my coach, Augie Bylot, who I met in 2015 is really when I got into seller finance. Previously, I had been doing lease options. So I started lease options in 2010. I did them almost exclusively from 2010 to 2020. That was my main exit when I started training with Augie in 2015. He opened up a whole other world of seller finance and how to obtain seller finance to build my wealth. So I had really just been on just building my income through lease options and wholesaling, and he taught me about lease options to build my wealth. So I developed three different offers I would make to sellers. I've been doing that since about 2020. Since we have such a good market, it makes sense for me to take listings because they're just money in the bank. Like it's easy to get them through my process, and they're very easy to sell. They sell in just a couple days. So I do multiple things in real estate. I took a year off recently, and I just wanted to think. I have been just very aggressive in my career, and I just needed a break. Like I've been working since I was 14 years old, and last year I just decided that I just didn't like it anymore and I didn't know what to do. And I was like, well, real estate is the only thing I know how to do. So I took a year off and I recreated my life. So I just took a step back from everything. I still did a little bit of work, but not that much. I'm going to say maybe like 5 transactions or so after the past year, throughout the past year. But they were just things that just came to me just with people that I know that I felt like were just, they just fell into my lap. So since then, I just have developed my life into just like what I love to do. Like I'm no longer I can't really say that I'm not reaching anymore or striving. That's just a part of my personality and a part of my career and a necessary part of real estate. And I do enjoy it. But I used to go all over. So I had three different markets. I had New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Central Florida. So I was all over the place. I was driving, I was on an airplane, I was just all over the place with real estate investing. And now I've honed everything here into Medford, New Jersey, where I live. And so my life feels much more peaceful. And these three offers are good because I'm able to do a multitude of different things so I don't have to be so geographically wide. Like when I was just doing lease options, I was doing them all over the place. I had those three markets. I was doing like 2 to 4 a month. So I was just like rocking and rolling with lease options. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But that's just to give you an idea of who I am and who you're listening to and how I developed the life that I have now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really important, right? I mean, you spent
Mhm.
30 years in real estate and just going after it. And that's very common in real estate, right? We all
Mhm.
hustle at some point, maybe for 30 years, right? And you just
Yeah.
said, I'm going to take a minute, a year, and just reflect on my life and really say, hey, what is it that I like about real estate? Like, obviously, the money, a lot, everyone who's here, we're not, you guys are working after work right now. It's 7 o'clock, right? So everyone here is a hustler to some degree.
Mhm.
And money is honestly why we're here, right? That's why we're all here. So when you take money out of the equation, you take the hustle out of the equation, you then reflect upon yourself.
Mhm.
And honestly, I think anybody at any stage of your career should do that, right? Just take the time, reflect, and then say, here's what I like to do. And it sounds like you created, before you created it, you said, what would my perfect life look like, right? Like, what am I
Mhm.
doing? And you created this tactic and you call it the three sale option or three, what do you call it? The three sell set offer,
It's the three offer system is
the three
the
offer system, right? So you
uh-huh.
created that and it's then worked around you, right? Rather than you working
Exactly.
around
Right.
real estate, you made it work
Mhm.
around you. And that's what you're going to be sharing here, which is phenomenal. So you please do tell us. I mean, especially in this market right now, where in the last 5 years, we've been in 10 different markets, right? So where we're at right now is giving your sellers options, right? And it's very powerful right now. And as a lender, I love to hear that because that's like that's exits of loans. So that's it's really good to hear. So
Yeah.
please, I know everyone who's here just wants the secret sauce. So
Uh-huh.
let's
Okay.
dive in.
So this is the secret sauce. Well, first of all, the secret sauce is marketing. All right. You always have to be marketing because marketing is the lifeblood of your business. I've been in times where I've been like, I'm so busy. I have so many deals. I don't have time. Look at me. I'm so successful and so busy. And then all of a sudden it all dries up and I don't have any deals anymore because I stopped marketing. So being consistent in your marketing is the most important thing. Well, first, the mindset is the most important thing. All right. Tactically, marketing is the most important thing in your business because you have to have those leads coming in all the time and then you can determine what to do with them. You need to be able to create a lead machine and see how many phone calls you have to make, how many letters you have to send, how many people that you have to contact to be able to get the lead flow that you need to come in to be able to reach the level of income. So during the time that I took off, I really learned a lot about how our mind works and mindset and how your mind is a container and it determines how much money you will make based on how comfortable and how safe you feel with that amount of money. And it's not just money, it can apply to anything in life, even a relationship. Like someone looking for a relationship, it determining how comfortable they feel to be in a relationship determines the success of their relationship. And it's the same thing with your career. So I did a lot of mindset work. I did stop my marketing during this time. I just started again in January, and the deals that I was doing were just momentum from, prior decades. So in doing the marketing, I have incoming calls all the time. And I make a determination in the initial phone call of really what I want out of this house and what I want to happen. Because the three offers always work for me. I offer it to them to build value, to build trust, to build differentiation from everybody else in the marketplace. Because whether you're a realtor or you're a real estate investor, more than likely everybody is making the same offers on the houses. Realtors are like, let's list it, list it. That's the only offer that they ever give anybody. There's thousands of them in our marketplace, and they're all doing the same exact thing. Let's just list the house. With real estate investors, they're mainly doing cash offers. So if a cash offer doesn't work or a cash offer is too low, it's just a dead lead. And that's how I did so many lease options is I was getting everybody's dead leads. I was like, if it doesn't work for you, send it over to me. I'll see if it'll work for you and I'll partner you in. So I was working with people that were getting these leads that they didn't really know what to do with, and the houses were in good condition. So I was doing lease options on them. And I don't do as many lease options now because the market isn't really good for lease options. It not as good as it was. 2010, 2020 was a great, slowly appreciating market. It wasn't insanity. All right. When it changed to insanity, a lease option doesn't really make much sense in this marketplace unless there's a tax advantage for the seller, is really when I'm doing lease options now. So, so in these inbound calls, I am determining a couple different things. So I'm talking to them about easy to answer questions initially because I want to build trust with them. If I start asking them like difficult questions like is your mortgage up to date and are the taxes being paid, they don't want to answer those questions right away. So I just answer questions that are easy and that I probably already know the answer to, but I just want to build rapport with them. I want to talk to them. I want them to to get to know me a little bit better and build a level of trust. So when they first call me, I start asking about square footage. When's the last time the roof was replaced? How old is the HVAC? How many bedrooms? How many baths? Is there a basement? Is it finished? Is there a garage, one, two, or three car garage? And so I ask these questions, and that way I get a feel for the house, and it starts to come to mind like what I could possibly do for this house and what my needs are as an investor at that given moment. So the offers that I make. So once I determine that this is a house that I'm interested in, I'll make an appointment to see the house. I'll go over there. I look through the house really only to build rapport because I already have my three offers, unless there's something very surprising that I don't know about that I see when I get to the house. I already know exactly what I'm going to offer on this house. So I'll sit down with them. My three offers are first a cash offer. So I make a cash offer on every house, even if it's beautiful condition. Typically people are like, oh, cash offers are on houses that are trashed pretty much. But I do make offers on trash houses, but I also make cash offers on houses that are in beautiful condition. So if it's in beautiful condition, I'll usually make an offer at 80% of the value. Some people do not, everybody thinks that, oh, that would never be enough. All right. I've learned to never think for anybody else. I
Yep.
never know what someone else is going to accept because people's needs are different and it's not always money. That's not always their highest priority. Some people just want to be out of the pain that they're in. They don't want to prepare the house for sale. They don't want to have showings. They are in some level of pain, or they just don't want the hassle of having a listing out there and they want privacy.
Yep.
So it's surprising the amount of people that will accept a cash offer, even if it is at a discount. Because ultimately, by having their house on the market, they're going to be holding it longer. They have commissions to pay. It's just a hassle for them to have to list their house. People that have lived in their house for a long time, they have a lot of things. There's staging that needs to be done. They are like, I don't know how I'll ever handle this. So I do make a cash offer on every single house, regardless of condition. My second offer is a seller finance offer. Now, I don't do the seller finance offer on every single house. I do it on the majority of houses because let's say that this is a house that needs repairs. I can't have anybody move in right away. The house, it has problems, whatever's happening with it, it needs some fix-up work. So I will do a short-term seller finance offer of 3 to 6 months, and that way I don't need the acquisition money, so I can pay a higher amount for the house. I only need the repair money, and I get that either from a private lender or I use my own funds, depending on the level of repairs. But that's still valuable to me to get that seller finance for 3 to 6 months because it benefits me because I don't need the acquisition money to buy the house, and it benefits them because they are getting a higher offer than most wholesalers are offering them. So most wholesalers aren't going into seller finance. I don't need to pay for the acquisition of the property, so I can pay a little bit higher than most other wholesalers are paying. So there's a benefit, even if the house has problems, there's an even higher benefit if the house doesn't have problems and I can move someone in there right away because then it can be occupied, even if it's dated. So what I'll do then is it doesn't have to be in perfect condition. People will if there's a house on seller finance, it makes the house so much more valuable because of supply and demand. There just aren't that many houses that don't need bank financing out there in the marketplace. So I can sell this house for more than I could if it was a listing or just a house that I was selling for cash. Once I have terms on it, it's more valuable to people than if it doesn't. So with this house, I will make an offer. All right, every situation is different. When I do that initial phone call, I ask them, if you had the perfect world scenario, when is it would you move? How much are you looking for the house? And a lot of times they don't even know. They're like, I'm not sure. I got your letter. I was going to call a realtor, but I decided to call you first. And so they like they aren't as savvy and educated as me, and my job being there is to educate them on how much their house is worth and how there are different tiers of what they can make on their house depending on their personal needs. So if I'm able to, let's just say I could do 24 month seller finance. All right, that's great for me. I love doing 24-month seller finance because then I could do a 12-month lease option. So I don't go in with any money down. I don't talk about money down. As soon as I make the offer, all I care about is that monthly payment. How much do I have to pay every month to be able for them to move on with their lives and I get the house for 24 months? Because then I could do a lot of different things with it. I can put it on the market, I can resell it, I could do a lease option, which I'm going to explain about how that will work. I can hold it as a rental. I have a bunch of different options. The longer term seller finance, the more I can pay for the house. It becomes more profitable to me because let's say that I can get 30 years. Let's just say, I just want to give an example of what kind of people this can work for, just to make it like real world
Mhm.
instead of just theory. So the biggest issue with older people now, with baby boomers, is they're afraid of running out of money because our economy now, expenses have gotten so much more than they thought. And this is unexpected, and they're afraid of running out of money in their lifetime. So they don't need a bulk of cash. They already have a bulk of cash in their retirement accounts, and they're concerned about where they're going to put it. They're also concerned more and more. I'm seeing people are concerned about adult children getting their hands on the money for one reason or another. Okay, they bought the house in whatever for $35,000 and now it's worth $650,000. So they have a bulk of cash that they really don't need. What they need is peace of mind. So if I can stretch this out as a 30-year note and tell them that it's like a pension for 30 years. You will be able to get this amount. You will depend on this every single month for 30 years. I could do so much with that house then. I have so much leeway. And so that's just an example of what I could do if I'm looking at a 30-year note. That is the kind of, that's my avatar. That's who I'm looking at.
Mhm.
Let's say it's a couple that is getting divorced. Neither one wants to talk to each other. Their credit is messed up in the divorce. They're both going to go rent, but they don't want to hold on to it forever. They're like, I just want to be rid of him. I just want to be rid of her. But they'll agree to a 2-year term because they don't want anybody in the neighborhood to know that they're moving and know that they're divorcing. Okay. So now this is my avatar. So this is perfect for I'll take over your mortgage. I will pay it for the next 24 months and then I'll cash you out. You neither one of you have to do anything. You don't have to put a sign out front. Nobody's going to know. It's not going to be on Zillow. You just take what you want and leave. I don't mind like doing that. I actually prefer that because I want them to have that peace of mind to know she is solving my problems. Realtors don't say those things to people,
Mhm.
right? But as an investor, agent hybrid, I know that that is a value to people, especially people that are hurt and in a divorce and they're like, I don't want these memories. I don't want this house anymore. And I don't want to list it because I don't want people to know. I just want to disappear into the night and become folklore. So when they have that, when they have that mindset, I know that they are probably going to accept a 2-year term. So with that 2 year, all right, that's just your avatar of who's going to accept that. With that house, I would do a lease option. So just to give you an idea of what I could make on this house that I have no money down into is they move out. They go into their separate apartments and I have control of their house. Um, so what I would do is I would advertise it as a lease with an option to buy with $15,000 option consideration. So I get $15,000 up front. Then I do a 12-month lease option to buy. The reason I want 24 months is if the first one defaults, I can do it again. So 24, 36 months, perfect for this. So I put them in a 12-month lease option and then they're paying me every month. So let's say that these people, and the only way that I do subject to is short term like this. I would not do a long-term seller finance if there was an underlying mortgage. I love free and clear, and the person, the avatar that I gave you, the person that's retiring, they have free and clear houses. Love it. All right. So it's always there's so many little nuances and so many adjustments that I can make to these offers.
So
So
Sharon,
yes,
on that lease option, $15,000, is that non-refundable?
it is. Yes.
Okay.
All right, so it's non-refundable, and they pay me that to be able to have the option to buy. I tell them it comes off the price of the house. And I don't tell them this because I don't want it's out of my control. So I don't want to promise that it can be a part of their down payment when they go to exercise this option. I don't want to tell them this because lenders change their goalposts all the time. I want to make sure that I can give what I promise, but it's easier for me to close if I can, well, if the lender can make that a part of their down payment because then they already have their down payment. So I get paid three times on this. I get paid the 15,000. I get paid the delta between, let's say the people that left the house, their mortgage was $1,700 a month and market rent is now $2,200 a month. So I'm making $500 a month on it. And then I get paid and cashed out when they finally settle. So that's those two are most of the time that's the seller finance offers that I'm making. And if they don't want either one of them, they're like, the cash is just, this house is worth so much and, our neighbor sold for blah, blah, blah. And we don't really like the seller finance. I just want to be rid of him or her and I just want to be done with this. And I'll go, okay, so what are you going to do to sell your house? And that's my question. And that's the final question. And they go, well, we're going to go ahead and list it. And I'll go, okay, all right, let's go ahead. And I'll just do an assumptive sale and list the house. So I'm really just listing houses by default. I'm just doing it because I've built rapport with them. I've spent money on the lead. I'm sitting in their living room. Sometimes I've cried with them, after listening to their circumstances and what's happening in their life. And I've built a relationship with them. So I used to just give it to a realtor and I used to just be like, okay, so they don't take my offers, then I'm out the door and that's it. I'm done with this. But with the three offer system, I do all three of those offers. So all three of them work for me. I'll buy the house cash. I can sell that all day long to somebody else. I'm not a buy and hold girl. So, but a lot of people like buy and hold. So I can easily sell that to somebody else that can cash flow on it. I want to talk about the no money down thing. So I go in ideally with exactly what I want. I'm like, this is what I determined that I want. I'm going to start here. Sometimes they will want a down payment. So they will negotiate with me about that down payment. If I have to put down a down payment, I'm fine with it. But a lot of times I don't. And that's great. That's my return is infinite if I don't have to put any money down. So let's say in the case of the lease option, I will even split that with them. I just created this. I don't have any money or really anything into it besides intellectual capital and being a transaction engineer. That's what I have into this transaction. So if I make 8,000 up front and I give them 7,000, it really doesn't, it's coming from the tenant optionee. It's not coming from me. So it's still kind of, well, no money down. But I don't say anything about money down. A lot of times they don't ask about money down. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. And it's all about building relationships, building rapport with these people so they like me, they feel comfortable with me, they trust me, and they aren't even like there used to be a lot of competitiveness with other people. Like if I'm just making cash offers, I have every wholesaler just bidding the price up. That's all that happens, especially in this marketplace. This is craziness. Like I cannot believe what people are paying for houses. And it bids me out. But if I use these three options, it gives them, I'm saying things, I'm coming up with solutions that nobody else is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I gotta applaud you for coming up with this because that is true creative investing. It really truly is. The system here, it's not designed to solve this isn't a new way to be a realtor and like a new way to get Zillow leads. That's not what you're doing here.
Mhm.
You are finding people with challenges that the normal conventional way is not what they're looking for. They're not. And then at the end, they decide, actually, I am. You're like, great, I'm your agent, right? You kind of
Right.
like slide
Well, it's
yourself
just a
in.
natural assumption. It's just
Yes.
at the end of all this, at the end of all of our, because, that was a very simplified version of what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, this, then that. It's not always like that. Sometimes it takes months for me to get there at that appointment. And I'm working with them and I'm following up with them. And I have a YouTube channel and I have Instagram, I'm all over social media talking about all this. So they're like, sometimes when I finally get there, they're like, Sharyn, it's so great. I recognize your voice. And we've been listening to you for months, And so that's why I established that social media presence so they know me before I even walk in the door. Everybody has access to everything. As soon as they hang up the phone with me, they're like, who is Sharyn Mancini? And it all comes up and they can listen to me, they can get to know me, they realize that I'm a professional, that I know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it did. I mean, I didn't make all of this up. I know you're like, I applaud you because of this. I didn't make it all up. These are all concepts that investors use across the US. I just put them into one little container.
And there's so many nuances in there. Every case is going to be different. Like you're a master at your craft. And that's what maybe isn't portrayed in 20-minute conversation here. Meaning like people might be like, well, this seems easy. I could do that. It's like, yeah, it is easy, but trust me, there is a lot that goes into it. I know if I wanted to do this, I would plan on giving you a call as soon as I can and say, what do I do here? So is that an option for people here? Like if I want to do this, because I'm in North Carolina, as I
Yeah.
mentioned, if I want to do that here, but I wanted you to kind of teach me your ways, what could I do there?
So I can put I have a stand store and you can book a one-on-one call with
Hmm.
me. And hold on, let me see if I can figure this out. I also have a new Mac that I don't know how to use it yet. My old one was so old. I used to have to use a mouse, but I'm like emotionally attached to it. So hold on, let me try and get this. Okay, there we go. I can post this in the chat.
I mean, I feel like each of those things that you just broke down has a whole course that could probably be behind that. I'm curious, does anybody in chat have any questions while we have Sharyn here about these tactics? Because I know she made it seem very simple, but I think there's marketing is obviously the most important thing, but that's a whole nother topic. But in this specific strategy, which I really, really like, I'm curious, does anybody have any questions about what Sharyn has shared so far?
Yeah, Don had one.
Yes, I do too.
Okay, we'll start with Don here. Yep, Don asked in chat, what lists are you mailing to? Do you use a particular list and is one better than others?
I like absentee owners and free and clear are my favorite list. Absentee owners are great because they're out of the area. They have a house here, and a lot of times they don't want the house here, or it hasn't even occurred to them yet that they don't want the house here. So they may have in the back of their mind, oh, I'm in Vermont. I want to sell this house. I'm just waiting for the tenant to leave. We rented it out because of blah, 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 whatever was happening in their lives. Or there are also a multitude of people that wanted to be landlords and no longer want to be landlords, especially in New Jersey. So that absentee owner list has been very valuable to me, and so has free and clear because I love free and clear. Then I don't have the complications of an underlying mortgage. So I don't know how advanced the investors are on this call, but if you have an underlying mortgage, there is a due on sale clause. And I know everyone is like, oh, the due on sale clause, it's just a boogeyman. It's not even real. It is. And especially as we see increasing rates from the 3% mortgages that people have, I have concerns. Maybe not right now, but in the future of these banks calling these notes. Because if they can get that delta in between their current rate and the rate that is offered market rate now, why not? Like I hear everybody, like I don't think I've ever heard of anybody having a note called, but I still don't want to be stuck with these properties that have underlying mortgages and I have a lease optionee in them and then the note is called and I have to refinance them all and I just don't want to get into that complication. I want a free and clear house and there's plenty of them like the baby boomers that it's such a a wide age range of people that had, because people used to pay off their houses, and those people, they also take excellent care of their houses. So if I have somebody with a 30, they're 35 years old in there, they will have a 27-year-old roof and brand new everything inside the house. But the roof, it's with our insurance dichotomy that we are in right now with with the insurance companies requiring roofs to be replaced, even if there's nothing wrong with them, they're not leaking. That's a problem. That's a problem with them selling their house. So the younger generations have problems like that. Older people have a brand new roof. The house may be a little bit dated, but everything has been meticulously maintained. So I love working with baby boomers because they have the houses that they have taken care of them. I may just have to do a little bit of cosmetic work, and they love the idea of seller finance.
Hmm.
So anyway, yeah, those two mailing lists are best.
Okay. And then Kruti,
Yes,
yep.
pretty. All right. So hi, I know
Who?
her.
Okay, go ahead and
Yeah.
ask Kruti. Yeah, go
All
ahead.
right. So who pays for closing costs? I do. So in seller financing or lease options. Okay, so that's two different things. In seller financing, there are closing costs. I pay them. I work it into my numbers in the deal. I really want to make it as easy and simple and desirable to them to be able to move forward with that. So that's why I tell them, don't worry about it. The stuff in the house, just I don't care if I have to pay a move out company to get it all out. Just take what you need. And I don't say that. I'm respectful of their things and the items in the house. I never, ever, even in houses that need a lot of repairs, I never say junk removal. I hear people talk to people about junk removal. These are their things, regardless of not if it's junk to you. This is still their home. It's where they've lived. It's their things. It's their life. And so I never say anything like, oh, I'm going to get somebody to come in and clear it all out. I sell the destination. All right, where they're going, the ease of doing it. So I will pay their closing costs. In a lease option, there aren't any closing costs because you don't have an actual purchase. You have a lease with an option to buy. So this is all, regardless of the term of your lease. You could do a lease term as long as you'd like with this, but I do very short lease options because my closing ratio is higher. So the I usually do a 12-month lease option. I will stretch it to 15. Once I start on 24 and 36-month lease options, life happens to them and they don't exercise the option. So I like to close people very fast. I like a lot of times people will just close in 8, 9, 10 months, even though they have a 12-month lease, because my goal is to always go on to a purchase. You will hear investors tell you, oh, you could just throw them out and get another lease, another option consideration. That's not how I run my business, and it's not how I work. But there are no closing costs because it's not an actual purchase. It's a lease agreement with an option to buy. And then once the option to buy comes, you're out of it. You're done with it. So it's just a regular purchase for them.
Awesome. Okay. Any other questions here?
And in lease options, do the sellers approve the tenant optionee?
No.
Or okay, so
Yeah. So I don't want to get into that. All right. I don't want to get into, okay, so, and there's also I just, all right. So it can get pretty messy when you do that. All right. Then your paycheck is up to them and whether or not they like them. I have
Mhm.
to I'm very careful in my business. Kruti has bought my course. All right. She knows like
Yeah.
how I work and what I do. And the fact that I'm very careful about what I do in my business, and I do not want the determination to be up to the seller. All right. Their job is to be like, I'm free. I can go. That's it. I'm done with this. I don't need to handle this anymore. She's going to handle it all. So my goal is to build that level of trust. By the time I'm sitting there with them, they know that I'm capable. They know that I have different options for them, and they have a level of trust that they can just let their house go and not be like, I want to pick the tenant option A because that just isn't going to work for me.
And that seller financing, Sharon, is that also considered like a subject too?
It can be, it's called subject to if there's underlying financing.
Okay.
It's subject to the original mortgage.
Okay.
So I have oh, is it okay if I ask a
Oh,
question?
yeah. Go ahead. I
Go
was
right
just
ahead.
seeing if there was anything else in the chat, but go ahead, Emily.
All right, thanks, Sharon. So I have an appointment on Saturday, and I'm trying to press in to find out what the best strategy is.
Mhm.
It is a property that two sons own. The mother passed away. She was a hoarder. She has 16 cats, but it's an awesome property. And my what I would like to do with it is purchase it, rehab it, and then put a tenant in there. So hold the property, like ultimately hold the property.
Okay.
So my question is, how could I structure? Because I'm thinking if I ask the seller to, if I could lease purchase it with a 12-month term, then I could use my funds or private money to fix it up and then finance it to put my tenant in.
Do you know if there's a mortgage?
I believe it's free and clear.
Okay. If it's free and clear, I would explain the benefits of long-term seller finance to them and explain it to them like cash coming in every month. All right. People listen to those words and they're like, what? All right. So you want to catch their attention by saying cash you'll receive every month. So just write that down and remember that terminology. And ask them if they're interested in receiving cash every month instead of a lump sum. If they say a lump sum, say, where are you going to put the money? Because most people don't know. They don't even know, like, and if they start talking about the stock market or like what investments are safe now, you are a safe investment. You have to sell them on the fact that you are a safe investment. So if this is a buy and hold for you, I would try to get a 30-year term. But if they're like, I don't know, try for a balloon. Just try to get a 7 or a 10 year that you can have, like longer term is better with seller finance. Now, if they won't go for that, hold on, let me think about this. All right, so I wouldn't do a lease option because I wouldn't put any money into a property that I didn't have the deed for. You want to have the deed. Okay. So what you may be able to do is like a burr where
Sharon,
you
can she do maybe a DSCR loan?
Yeah, she could do something like that. I mean, it's not seller finance, that's just regular finance, but she could do
Right.
something like that. Or a burr where she did seller finance enough to fix up. Emily, you said you're going to use your own funds to fix it up. Is that what you said?
Well, ultimately, the best case scenario would be not to use my own funds.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, so either a regular loan would work for that. Or you could do a short-term seller finance of 12 months, but close on it. Don't put any money into it until you close on it.
Okay.
Borrow the rest of the money, the fix up money from a private lender. You're still into this at zero, and then you can refinance it, cash them out, pay back your private lender, have your rental.
Okay.
Do you want me to say that again?
Yeah, hold on. Let me just
Okay.
get my notepad out so
Okay.
I can thank you so much. I'm so grateful for this for
Yeah, I think we went to school together. Are you from Collingswood?
Stop it, really?
Class of 89?
Yes.
Me too. Yeah,
Wow,
I
did
went
you
to
play
Mark Newby. I
sports?
grew up in Collingswood. Yeah, I went to Mark Newby. We went to school together.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I know. Isn't that funny? I recognize your name.
Oh wow. Oh, we'll have to catch up and
Yeah,
talk
I know.
more
That's
about
so
that. That is
funny.
so cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, all right. So let me go through this again. So with the deal that you're talking about, I would try to get as long-term seller finance as I possibly could. Okay. If they won't go for that, just do a 12-month term. Borrow private money to be able to pay the fix-up cost. There's still no money out of your pocket. Then refinance it, pay off the brothers, and pay off your private lender, and then you have a rental with no money down. You have
Okay.
put no money into this.
Okay.
That's how I would do it.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome.
I can't believe we went to school
I know.
together.
Isn't that
That's so
funny?
awesome. I love it.
Me too.
All right, so we're just about at time here. Does anybody have any other questions here for Sharyn? All right, Sharyn, how can people get a hold of you? I see you posted your link in the chat, so that's good for everybody here. Is there an email or phone number or website? What would you say there?
Yeah, email me at Sharyn, spelled SHARYN, at SharynBuysHouses.com.
Very good. And Sharyn, you mentioned earlier you were going to be speaking March 2nd for SJREIA as well?
Yes, that's a totally different one. That's not on this creative finance. It's on what's in your lease, about lease stipulations that will protect you in New Jersey.
Very good. So I hope to see you all there. And thank you again, Sharyn, for sharing all these, just golden nuggets in here. There's so much of them. So thank you for coming on, and thank you everyone for joining us. And Lynn, thank you for hosting us, and thank you, SJREIA.
Yep.
All right.
Thank
Take care,
you.
everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.